But where the buck stops for me is in terms of the speculation and the judging players before even seeing them play for a single minute for Chelsea, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that Omogu is the solution, but I don't know if he is not the solution either, right? Ahmed could probably tell you more because he watches Ligue 1, but I can't say anything because I don't watch Ligue 1. So and a lot of people that say he's not the solution don't watch Ligue 1 either, so they can't even speak from experience. But let's go into this, right? So understand, Chelsea plan for Matheus Omogu is to stay for the next 3 months, develop with top players, and then go to Strasbourg from next season to be regular starter. Meanwhile, Andrey Santos will be part of Chelsea's squad from July, returning from sister club. Then the 12.5 million paid out from Matheus Omogu is geared more towards him learning the style of play and what Chelsea is all about before he is loaned to Strasbourg next season. Do not expect him to get many minutes, as Chelsea see him as one for the future. And then the very next comment is Arkansas saying an idea is for Matheus Omogu to develop at Chelsea and perhaps go to Strasbourg next season. He can serve as midfield cover and acclimatize to English football club. We continue on here. Enzo Maresca on Matheus Omogu. We didn't sign him thinking he's going to play an important part with us. The reason why is because the age and we need to process. That being said, this is being translated and interpreted as like, oh, he's not part of the plans. This can be anything. It can be he's not part of the plan. It could also be a part like to process. He can be processed. We can process and learn as a backup. He can learn as being part of the training. There's many ways he can learn. I'm not gonna, come to a conclusion in one thing. We continue on. Enzo Maresca was warned not to expect Matheus Omogu, Chelsea's sole January signing, to play a significant part in the rest of the campaign, despite the club's midfield shortage. Then we have here Andrey Santos, right? So there was no temptation to recall Andrey Santos in January because Chelsea feel a full season with Strasbourg playing every week is best for his development. However, the plan is for him to be a key part of Chelsea's midfield next season, according to Ben Jacobs. Fabrizio Romano also saying here, Chelsea have already started planning next season with Andrey Santos as one of the key players for Maresca. Club very happy with his development at Strasbourg, as Andrey Santos will be part of the team from June. Chelsea are not open to listening to any summer offers for Andrey Santos despite interest from Bayern. Santos will do a swap with Omogu in the summer and be part of the first team, according to Ben Jacobs. And that is the last of the tweets. So what I was saying before, right? I'm not going to sit here and conclude, like a lot of people are already concluding, is that Andrey Santos is to be sold. Right? Because there's a bunch of hypotheticals you can go through. I already entertained this hypothetical earlier. Ahmed can attest to this. I have said, what if we recalled Santos as a backup? He is not a starter. As a backup to Caicedo, Enzo, and Lavio when he returns as well. Right? Who is to say that we have the same exact scenario with every other player that has complained so far about playing minutes? He is a starter right now at Strasbourg. You're going to take him from starting minutes to backup minutes, run the risk of him being upset with not getting minutes, and then be sold as a part of the disgruntled player not wanting to be at Chelsea anymore. So he wants out of the club because he doesn't get minutes, because people wanted him to come as a backup, which I wanted him to be as a backup. In an ideal world, he comes as a backup, and this is the other hypothetical. He comes as a backup, he's all right with it, and then next season, he's a part of Chelsea, a rotational player, because let's be honest, he's not going to start over Enzo. He's not going to start over Caicedo every game, right? He will be a rotational piece. Is he happy with that? Who's to say? I don't know. I don't know Andrey Santos. The other hypothetical is that, fine, and this is a hypothetical that ever since it's manifested and thrown into the Twitter sphere, it's been the conclusion that everyone runs into. This is the issue I have with the fan base, is that you guys don't give me the other hypotheticals. You just think one thing, and that's the thing. That's the conclusion. That's the fact. This is what everyone's saying. Oh, we have him at Strasbourg. He's going to stay at loan, and the only reason he's staying at loan is because the club want him to play as many minutes as possible to up his value to sell him in the summer. the other hypothetical is that he's staying at Strasbourg to actually develop so that he can play a key part into the team next season. I'm not saying I believe one more than the other, but there's multiple possibilities and multiple hypotheticals and multiple multiverses. So that's why I go back to, like, I can't crash it on the owners because I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with Andrey Santos. They actually might sell him. They actually might keep him. If they had recalled him, he actually might have wanted to leave the club. Or he may have wanted to stay. I don't know. But the fact that people come here and conclude and run with this agenda that, okay, he's clearly here to be sold. We bought Amogu, as far as I can see, based off of the surface level, and maybe Ahmed disagrees with me. Amogu, for me, the way I see it, we bought him in as a replacement for Santos when we inevitably bring Santos back and Strasbourg need to fill that gap. So then he goes there and becomes the Santos for Strasbourg because Strasbourg no longer has Santos. And then what we do with Santos, I genuinely don't know. Amogu might actually play some minutes for Chelsea. He might serve as a backup. He might not serve as a backup at all. He was in the bench in the FA Cup. We'll see if he's in the bench in the next Premier League game as an option. But I just don't know what's going to happen with Santos. I would like to believe he's going to stay at the club. I don't know if that's for certain because this club has thrown way too many curveballs at me. All right. But in an ideal world, I would love
Marshall, man, stop this woke nonsense, bro. All due respect.
One more hypothetical, Ahmed. There is a world where Santos isn't happy being a rotational piece at Chelsea because I think me and you can agree he doesn't bench Enzo Fernandez. He doesn't bench Caicedo. Oh my God, he's laughing. He doesn't bench Caicedo, and he isn't guaranteed minutes, so he's gonna find a move elsewhere. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a lose-lose. Like, we can't keep every talent, unfortunately. Go for it, bro.
Let's go back to normal because I don't think we need to see this anymore, right? It's better we need to see the two of us. I'll be very honest with you, Marshall, man. So one of them is, listen, I think,
sorry,
yeah,
I had to put it all out.
Mathis Amogu should have definitely, in my personal opinion, if you want to do it for Strasbourg next season, just loan him back. You could have just done a deal that you could have just done those deals where you basically like, get a here we go for him, but the here we go is for the like June the 1st. You know what I mean? Like
hypothetical.
Like or July the 1st, right?
Finish your thought and I give you the hypothetical.
Right? And like, I think for me, the reality is I don't think you need him at this, bro. Just recall, again, my thoughts about Leslie.
Yeah.
He should have been recalled. That should have been that should have been the situation.
That's the biggest one I was set with.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, in regards to the Santos situation, I have always, I don't know how else to put it. Like, listen, I laughed at the ends of it because I actually think in terms of how he plays, he better suits us. He does a lot. He's a much better version of Enzo, currently, in my personal opinion.
Santos?
Yes, he's a much better version of Enzo, in my personal opinion.
Interesting.
And he's talented, and I think for me the problem, and you don't disagree or do you agree?
No, I mean, actually, I can't. Based on what I've heard, I don't disagree, but I also can't really speak from.
I think for me the reality is, the other clubs are sniffing, bro, right now. The reality is, other clubs are in and around us. They're looking at him. They're seeing that he's not playing that much game time over here. And I think the thing is, he probably will be made to be a bench player here or like a rotational piece for Caicedo or Enzo as well. But if this other team can guarantee you straight away game time, and you're already developed to be ready for that, and Chelsea, bro. Chelsea, like anything, beginning of profit. You know what I mean? They love a little bit of money. You know what I mean? A little bit of extra change in the pocket. And also, to that, we know Esugu is the other guy that they're trying to, they basically brought from Sporting.
I meant to talk about him, but I'll save it for the next show.
But like, he's another guy they brought as well. I mean, the thing is, guys, there's only one place this is leading to, Marshall.
That Lavia is getting sold?
No, that he's gonna go.
Santos?
Yes.
So you believe Santos is gonna go?
I genuinely believe they're gonna sell him. Genuinely. Because I don't think they're gonna give up on Lavia. I don't, and I'm pretty sure you agree with this because like he's actually played quite a few more games this season. He's been somewhat regular, barring the times he's been injured, right? Obviously, Enzo and Caicedo are immovable objects because of their price ranges. And plus, Caicedo's playing real well. Enzo's been decent, right? The reality is, you then bring in Mathis for Strasbourg. It's Sugu. I don't know what he's maybe a flip that's coming up that we don't know about, right? Still got Leslie here as well.
Yeah. The thing though is with what's his face, Lavia, is I think Lavia, if we had bought Lavia for a smaller fee, he also would have been flipped at this point. I genuinely feel it. I don't think, especially with the injuries, like I don't think in an ideal world, if we could sell Lavia and keep Santos, the owners would do it. But because we bought him at an extravagant fee, 50 million, that's not extravagant, but for the player, right? Because we bought him at a high fee, we're kind of like our hands are tied and we have to like sell Santos. I do lean in the camp that like I do feel like whether it's because Santos wants it or the club wants it, Santos will go in the summer. I'm leaning more towards that.
You agree with me for once?
No, I lean towards it. I still feel like it's potentially he could stay, right? Like if I'm taking these words for what they actually are worth, Fabrizio's coming out and saying he's part of the plans, he could stay, potentially. But I think it depends on the player more so than it depends on the ownership. Because I genuinely feel like if the player's not happy with his playtime, he will ask to leave.
Marshall, I'm telling you, bro, with the amount of money right now, yeah, that is available, yeah, which you can probably get for him right now, yeah, the talent and the guaranteed gameplay the other teams are gonna give him. So I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say, bro.
It's just that I more so think that Santos is gonna go because he's not gonna be happy with his playing time, and I just think it's.
But listen, that's the. I think. Listen, you're making my point for me anyway.
Yeah.
You're adding to my point basically, right? But like,
at the end of the day, all points end at why.
And for me, if he gets sold, you know that's the breaking point of the fan base, right? I know you and I know this right now, right?
I think it's inevitable though.
No, listen. We and I know already it's inevitable, but like, I think the fan base is waiting for, the system to crack. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And that will break the system. Genuinely, especially for those guys that we believe in the system, we believe in the method, the way that the club is doing stuff. That will break the system, bro. That is GG's. And if that happens, Marshall, oi.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, I'm already kind of checked out with the sporting directors. I'm already asking for other sporting directors. But in terms of let's just isolate the incident and talk about just Andrey Santos. We can hear that. Just in terms of Andrey Santos, right? Andrey Santos isn't going to be the breaking point for me. If he gets sold, then so be it. He gets sold. If we keep him, good for us. I think he's going to go regardless, and it's because of the circumstances. Because let's be honest, I'm not going to crash it on the sporting directors if Andrey Santos goes. It depends on the context. If he doesn't play a single minute for Chelsea and he gets sold in the summer, then I'm pissed, right? But if he goes in January because he is a rotational piece and he's not happy with the playing minutes, then I'm not putting that on directors, because at the end of the day, bro, what Engraver is saying right here, if he goes because what Engraver's saying, I wouldn't sell any of our midfielders, let them battle it out. How many positions have players this just in January alone, right? How many of our players left because they weren't happy with the playing time and because they had stiff competition in front of them? To an extent, some of it's Enzo Maresca being unfair with playing minutes. I'll give you that. But let's be honest, Nkunku's not playing as a 10 and João Felix weren't playing as a 10 because Cole Palmer's ahead of him. Let's be real. So if you're not going to fight for your position and you want to go because of that, then that's your prerogative. I'm not blaming that on sporting directors, because at the end of the day, we have Caicedo in front of Santos, Fernandez in front of Santos, and that's a battle out. And when Lavia comes back, Lavia's ahead of Santos as far as I'm aware, until he proves himself. So, like, am I going to be upset at the directors because we have better players or potentially better players than Santos ahead of him? Like, if Santos wants to move and not compete for that position, then that's on Santos. I'm not going to crash it on Santos. I don't blame him. But at the end of the day, like, there's context to it too. So, like, I think it's a lose-lose at the end of the day.
Okay. Ahmed, have you spoke on this or no?
Yeah.
Speak.
You have. What? Are you okay?
Yeah, just joking.
Damn.
I just had the egg.
You're choking. Not the first time you said that. Anyway. Yeah.
Whoa,
Marshall,
hey, yo.
Marshall, not gonna lie, I think you're waffling there. We don't have the strong midfield depth everyone praises that we do. You only have Caicedo. Lavia can stay fit for.
No. Okay, hold on. I think you're missing the point I'm getting at. My point is that if Santos were to want to ask to leave, right, I think it would be frustration of minutes because he's not a starter at Chelsea. As of right now, I don't think he's a starter for Chelsea. And a lot of players have left because they're not happy with their minutes.
Okay.
It's not a depth thing, it's just a starting.
I don't think there should
thing.
be a worry of Santos not being a starter because Caicedo can't stay fit. Lavia is injury prone. And Enzo, we know he can't really play like a full 60 minutes without getting burned down. Also, you need proper depth in your midfield regardless. Because we're talking about, like, if we're saying not him having a place to start or whatever, well, when you look at our midfield now, we only have Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo, and Lavia is injured, so we only have two midfielders. But if we had kept Santos or Leslie, or even both of them, the way we'd be able to rotate through the minutes, we'd be a lot stronger right now. Even with the injury to Fofana and Jackson not being able to score goals or Jackson being injured, we'd still be fine in terms of our midfield. So I think Santos staying is a good thing. And I think Leslie should also stay. We cannot trust Lavia to stay fit. And Enzo, I don't know about other people, but for me, Enzo's only had 3 top performances this season. I think for the most part, he has been underwhelming again. So, and again, like I've been saying about Caicedo, he's been doing slave shifts for 18 months. He shouldn't have to play every single game at 100%. We need the bodies, bro, in our midfield. So Santos and the other guy, Leslie, they both. Sorry, I know it's extreme, but again, I can say it, so I can get away with it. It's fine. But
were you a slave for? That's slaves in Peru, Marshall.
Was there what?
Probably.
Was there slaves where?
Peru.
Slaves in Peru.
There probably was, bro. I mean, there probably was.
There probably was.
Did you have any? Is it Incas? Is it Incas for you guys, right, or Mayans?
Incas.
See, Incas definitely had slaves, if I'm not mistaken. So yes.
I wanna make a joke about Chelsea fans and slaves, but I'm not going there. Anyways, yeah, let's talk about unless Santos wants to go, which again I don't understand. He should stay. In terms of that Mogu guy, because you brought up the banner thing, Mogu's going to Strasbourg next season. So, and I don't know what profile this Mogu guy's meant to be. Apparently, he's a DM, or whatever. Amogu's going there, and Santos is staying here, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Leslie also stays here as well, and I think that could also be the plan. That's why Amogu is a DM and he's going there, so Leslie doesn't get sent there. But yeah, we need bodies, bro. Like when people talk about depth, you need quality depth. That's something we didn't really have at the start of the season, like people thought we did.
Mm-hmm.
And now the bodies that we had, they're gone. For Felix, he's a body, he's gone. The Sassy, he's a body, he's gone. Vega would have been quality if he had been used at centre back. He's a body, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather have quality depth than just not have any depth at all, or just to have bodies but no quality. You know what I mean? But hopefully this board makes the right decision.
I genuinely feel, and I'm gonna put it like this. You said it already, Marshall, in terms of stuff. I'm just gonna again reiterate my point that there's already clubs sniffing around that are willing to give him guaranteed game time, right? And they will pay the money to get him because he's already gone through the hardest part of his development. By the way,
he definitely starts at Bayern. By the way,
yeah, he definitely starts at Bayern, and he's gone through the again. My thing is he's already.
They're gonna start phasing out their old heads there.
And listen. Again, they've already just gone through the hardest part of their his development process at Strasbourg, right? And in a league where, again, as I said before, is a good league for, in terms of like going from the league into the Premier League into the Bundesliga. It's relatively good in terms of that. So, listen, it's uncomfortable conversations right now, bro. I'll be honest, it's uncomfortable conversations.
I don't think it is. Like, why do there's no reason why Santos can't be a starter in this team.
Realistically, would Enzo Fernandez be dropped for Santos right now?
Well, in terms of what Maresca wants out of Enzo, Santos can actually do that.
No. I know he can do that, but I'm saying realistically speaking, £105 million Enzo, would he be dropped for Santos?
For the benefit of the team, yes.
He doesn't do that for Palmer, so why would he do that for Enzo?
He dropped what Palmer didn't cost 100 and whatever mil or whatever it is you're saying. And two, when Lavia was fit, he was starting over Enzo.
Another one I'm gonna give you right now, yeah. Caicedo, and he'll probably be a backup for Caicedo. For Lavia, I think with Lavia it's a bit difficult because Lavia probably is going to be the Caicedo backup if he remains. That's probably what they're going to do, right? And the Santos is like the double just in case. Does that make sense, Prime? But realistically, I just don't see a situation where they will drop Enzo Fernandez for him in a long-term period.
One, they would, and two, when you guys say drop, you do know it's a squad game, and you need quality.
But sadly, we know the club also works, Prime, sadly, on an ROI basis as well.
No, there's that, but Prime, I think, but Prime, the thing is, like, I know me, you, and Ahmed understand it's a squad game, but I feel like a lot of players nowadays, and someone said this in the chat, like this Gen Z generation, a lot of players nowadays, they want to be the starter of the club. They want to be the star. Like, they want to be playing that many minutes. That's what worries me, right? Like, in my hopium world, I hope we have a world where I can, like, go to the bench and I have Lavia, Ugochukwu, and Santos. But in my realistic world, I'm thinking, like, I'm hoping Santos is actually happy with having rotational minutes instead of, like, because he's a starter right now, out and out at Strasbourg all the time. Is he going to be happy coming from being a starter to a rotational player?
But in his head, he won't be. If he's as good as he believes to be, he will be a starter at Chelsea. But the thing is, right? Hold on. But the thing is, right? He doesn't even need to, like, well, obviously he needs to try. But, like, I don't think it'll be that hard to do. So long as he performs to his ability, and if, say, Enzo's not performing, or Caicedo's not performing, or Lavia's injured, he gets his opportunity to start and get his place in the team. I don't get this thing of, like, he has to go. Why does he? Because
but the problem is, Marshall,
other than Caicedo, for me, none of our other midfielders have cemented their place in this team. I'll be honest. Lavia can't stay fit, and Enzo hasn't done anything for me.
But not Marshall, sorry. But Prime, I think what you're saying is correct. I think all of us here would agree with you. But the reality is, we also need to realize, yeah, I think from a club perspective, they probably want to be pushing Lavia to be playing more games. They want to be pushing Enzo to play more games, right? And I think for me, Santos, yes, can he basically outbeat them for that spot? Yes, but I think for me, why would he need to do that when he's guaranteed game time at another top club, which is already guaranteed in UCL?
If he were to go to Bayern, he easily benches
You're saying they
Goretzka
want to push for Lavia to get games. Why wouldn't they want to push for Santos, who this guy's supposed to be like the next big thing out of Brazil? He's supposed to be the next Brazil captain, their next big midfielder, baby Casemiro, everyone was saying like 2 years ago when he bought him. If that's but if all of this stuff is the case about Caicedo, about Santos and all the hype around him, if all of that is true, I'm not just gonna say that he can go because you're not getting minutes, bro. If you're as good as you think that you are, you're gonna start in this team. He will find his way into this team to start. Let's just be honest with ourselves, because Lavia won't last past a month of the Premier League season. Enzo will start putting in shit performances, and come game week 6, Lavia or Santos will be starting. So, like, I'm not worried.
I really hope it, like, again, I hope, a lot of hopium tonight. I hope that if we get Champions League, that'll be enough to satiate these minutes, because when we do have Champions League, we are going to have to rotate these players, right? And that competition, unlike Conference League, is going to be a competition that players that are rotational players are going to be happy to rotate into. Like, Santos is going to have no problem playing in the Premier League as long as, you know, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo are playing minutes in Champions League. And hopefully that's enough to, like, be a strong enough squad that, you know, Santos can play Premier League minutes and be put in a shift and do a good enough job. Time will tell with this one. It's a really curious case. I think overall my point is that, like, I'm not going to crash it on the sporting directors, depending on the context. If we go into next season having Santos, and by the end of it or by January, Santos wants out because he doesn't have enough minutes. Hopefully he doesn't do that, and hopefully he's happy with the minutes he gets. But Ahmed brings up a good point where, like, he's being offered starting minutes by Bayern Munich, for example. I think he's guaranteed starting minutes there. With Kimmich on his way out, surely he's getting up there in age. You got Goretzka as well. Who else plays in their midfield that, you know, hasn't been good enough?
It's just really toasted. The thing
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
I don't get this because he will get minutes at Chelsea. Look at how much games Caicedo and Lavia have both played this season because we've had no midfield option.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That shows
But
that
it's the
Santos
starting
will
minutes
get
thing
games.
is the thing.
Again,
But the starting minutes will come once you earn them.
But that's okay. But that's, like, what I'm trying to get at is that the same minutes that Moises is getting here at Chelsea, Andrey is getting at Strasbourg.
Yes, because there's no one else better ahead of him.
Exactly. There's no one else better than him, and I think that's where I'm worried if Santos is going to be happy not having that role at Chelsea.
But, but he will have to earn, because if we go based off this
I get
season,
that.
Santos has and yes, it's a different club, different league. But Santos has outperformed Enzo and Lavia. Just within a preseason alone, he could establish himself as a starter.
Yeah, but Prime, where I'm getting at with this too is, like, when you look at the examples, and I'll go to you right after. I don't know what you're doing, bro. But we go to, like, for example, João Felix, right? And I know you don't really necessarily rate him, but, like, with João Felix,
I don't know about that.
He hasn't earned starting minutes over Cole Palmer, and look what he did. He up and left.
Yeah, but I don't care about Felix.
I know,
so,
but why? How do we know Santos is going to do that?
Also, Felix hasn't done enough to start. I'll be so real. What I want to see from him in the Conference League, he's not done enough. The same with Nkunku. So, but that's why I'm saying, if you earn it, Santos, you'll get your chance to play because you're talented enough, and we've seen what you've done this season and last season. You're good enough, so prove it. And if you believe you're that good, you shouldn't have to wait that long to prove it. We shouldn't have to be waiting 3 months in for him to get a Premier League start. No, he probably would have proven it by at least the preseason alone. Maybe within the first few weeks of the season. So,
I get what you're saying, Brian, but listen, we know what the game is like. We know these guys are restless.
The game is the game.
You know what I mean? They don't look, but they don't want to be the I want to wait for game time. I want to be getting game time automatically. Yeah. This is the new way of the universe. Like, this is what it is.
It's not. I'll be pissed if we let Santos go and we have Lavia here who can't stay fit. And
I'm telling you, that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm willing to bet. Yeah, my ability to have children. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Genuinely.
You know what? Knowing how bad the squad planning is from these sporting directors, that's probably what's going to happen.
I'm telling you.
We'll keep an injury-prone midfielder and a racist midfielder over Santos.
I'm telling you, Fran, bro. I'm willing to build.
Your ability to have children is crazy, by the way.
I'm willing to bet my potency. I'm willing to bet my potency that that's not going to happen. That's it, man. Listen, if that doesn't, if it doesn't happen, that's good for me, man. That means, yeah, if anyone that I'm with, they know, man. They ain't getting pregnant, man. They're shooting blanks forever. You know what I mean?
Man's his finishing.
You know what I mean?
It's getting the snip.
You know what I mean? Don't worry, man. Listen.
Man's gonna go from a potential Henry to a Werner. Crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Listen, no, I'm.
At the end of the day, I think we all actually agree. I think the player's gonna want out because I don't know if he's gonna, prove that he's better than Maresca or not Maresca. I keep saying Maresca. I don't think he's ready yet to be outplay or like be better than Enzo and Caicedo in the starting role or Lavia. I still think that will happen over the course of time, and he will be frustrated and want out and forcing the club to sell.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. When you say over the course of time that he will have to prove that, what does that mean? How long do you think that will be?
I think not next season, but maybe the season after. If Santos were to stay, then Santos can maybe establish himself as a starter.
Like a year. I don't think it's taken that long.
I think it will. I think it will. Just
do you think it's because of Maresca?
Time will tell. No, not because of Maresca. I think age and experience is going to play a factor. But time will tell. I could be totally wrong. Like, because I'll be so honest, guys. I don't watch enough Santos to really say with like chest that like he's clearly gonna start or he's clearly gonna be benched. I just think
Enzo's has experiences, or even, I don't think Enzo's that more experienced than Santos. For one,
he won a World
Cup.
Okay, and two Copa Americas.
Fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I mean.
The highest level of competition you can be in.
I'm talking about he hasn't been. I don't think he's been playing for that much longer. But two. So, like, you know how earlier in the season Maresca kept talking about leaders. He wants Reece to step up. He wants Colwell to step up. There's a reason why Enzo's our vice captain and Caicedo's our third choice captain.
Yeah.
What Santos has shown at Strasbourg is that he is a leader.
Sure.
So coming into this team as a leader, you don't have to build him up to be one or pray that he turns into one. He is a leader. I don't know why we're going to get rid of that. We're talking about experience and leadership. We have one in Santos.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think it. Like I said, I don't think very much that it's what you guys think. Actually, Prime, maybe I'm misinterpreting your take, but with Ahmed thinks the club is going to sell for a profit, regardless this summer. Prime, I think you're along the lines thinking if you had to predict Santos's future, I think you agree with Ahmed along the lines that the club will sell him for a profit. My prediction?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What is your prediction with Santos's future?
I'm saying that if he stays, he can be a starter at Chelsea.
Well, no, not if. Like, what do you think is actually going to happen with Santos? Do you think he's going to stay?
I think he'll stay, and he can be starting at Chelsea by, like, when does the season start? In August? He can be a starter by latest October.
Okay. So you think he's going to stay? I think that my prediction is that by January, he will want out, like Vega, like Felix, and we will be forced to sell him because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want the rotational minutes. He wants to be a starter. So we all have different predictions. We'll look back at this and laugh and cry, or maybe both.
Just remember, chat. Yeah, I'm always right. Bridge Nation. Bridge Nation is always right. I'm always right, man. Listen, right. Don't worry, man. I'll let you know, man. If I'm wrong, 3 cream pies. There we go.